This is exit theory number 5, and we're going to talk about calculating your personal financial goals. So the most common mistake our students make is not having their own personal financial goals. Most people will not take the time to write down their goals. Why? I have no idea. I guess they're not serious about making money. I recommend you write down your goals so it's visual in front of you, so you know it. I write down my goals, and our team writes down our goals, so you should too. Having personal financial goals equals having a target equals having a destination. So when we have the personal financial goals, we have an idea what our target is. So now we have a target to aim for, and we have a destination where we know that we have arrived. When you have a target, you know what to aim for. When you have a destination, you can make better decisions of where to go. So if I know that I want to go to Bangkok and I keep going in the wrong direction, I don't see Bangkok, I can make adjustments. But if I don't know that I want to go to Bangkok, I cannot know where I'm going. I don't even know that I'm going in the wrong direction, and I cannot ask for help, and I cannot ask other people to help guide me because they don't know where I'm going. When you have a destination, you can make better decisions where to go. When you have a tangible number, you can measure your performance. If you say, hey, I need $100,000 to retire, I need $800,000 to retire, then we have a number that we can work with, that we know that, hey, this will work or this will not work to get you there. So let's say that you tell me that you need to make $200,000 to retire in Vietnam. But as soon as you get into the trade, you want to take profits in a week. Then we can say, hey, you're not going to be able to do that in a week. You need to hold the coin longer than a week to be able to hit that target number. When you have a tangible number, you can also compare and adjust your strategies. If your goal is to make $100,000 and my goal is to make $100,000, and you use strategy A and I use strategy B, and a year later or after the bull market's done, I don't hit my goals and you double your goals, then we know that one of us has a bad strategy and I need to give it up and go learn your strategy or learn a better strategy. When you have a tangible goal, other people can help guide you in the right direction. If you tell me that you need this amount of money to retire or this amount of money to live comfortably, and you ask me, hey, can I do this strategy? I'm going to let you know that strategy is not very good because it's not going to help you get to your goals. By having a tangible goal number, other people like myself can help guide you in the right direction. So creating a financial goal sounds simple, but most people will not do it. I hope that if you listen to this, you do it, and then you'll get to your financial goals easier, quicker, and our team can help you much better. Let's talk about calculating your personal financial goals so you know how that's done. So before we talk about calculating your personal financial goals, I want to share with you guys our team's early wealth mistakes. So we focused on what path or what journey or what investment vehicle to take, but it did not have a final destination in mind. So this is like asking us, should I use a train, plane, car, boat, or horse, Ty? What should I use? We cannot answer that question until we know where are you going. If we know your destination, such as, hey, Ty, I want to go to Bangkok, right? Then we can determine if you should take the bus, train, car, plane, or boat, right? So the final destination equals the life that you want to live. So what you have to figure out and write down, what is the life that I want to live? For example, I say, hey, I want to live near the beach. I don't want to have to be in a job where I'm location dependent. I don't want to have to be in a job where I'm time dependent, where I have to be there at a certain time. It is difficult for poor people to imagine the life they want to live because it is hard to imagine making enough money to live whatever life that you want. That's the mistake that our team made. We couldn't imagine making so much money that we could live whatever life that we wanted to live. And so because of that, we never take the time to paint the picture and write down the life that we want to live. And so when it was time to take profits the first time in 2014, it was very hard for us to do that. It was still hard for us to do it in 2017 bull market. It was better, but it was still difficult because we didn't have a clear picture. Now in 2021, it's very easy for us to take profits because we have a very, very clear picture of where we want our life to be. The more clear that of the life that you want to live, the more clear you have of your final destination. And when you have your final destination, it's much easier and clearer for you to get there quicker, faster, and easier. And it's also quicker, faster, and easier for others to help you get there. The best way to imagine the life you want to live is to ask yourself this question. What is the life I want to live if money was not an issue? If money was no longer an issue in my life, how would I live my life? And when you can answer that question, that is the life that you want to live, and that is your final destination. And that is where we need to start calculating the financial numbers to have that life. And that's how we get there quicker, easier, and sooner. Our goal should be to create the life we want to live and not just make more money. If we make more money, but we're not living the life that we want to live, then that money is useless. Money is just a tool. If I make this extra $1 million, is it going to improve my quality of life? How is that going to change my quality of life? If it doesn't change my quality of life, then I need to focus on figuring out what can happen so that I can have a better quality of life. Now, there will be a point where you make so much money or you make enough money to where it's not going to matter anymore. So on our team, we've gotten to the point where making another $1 million is not going to change the quality of our life one bit. So at that point, then we need to focus on what do we want to do with that money, or what do we want to do with the life that we have left on this earth. Knowing our goals helps us and others to help us get to our final destination easier and faster. So make sure that you take the time to sit down and consider what you want your life to be and to write it down so that you can share it with others to help you guide you in the right direction. If you do not know your personal financial goals, then consider this. A common goal is to quit your day job. Another common goal is to own a house and a car. Another common goal is to pay for your kids' education. Avoid paying off debt as your first financial goal unless it is critical. The reason is because paying off debt does not increase your profit potential. You might say that paying off debt reduces your mental stress or mental worries and things like that. But the reality is, unless it's critical debt, most of the debt does not benefit you in any way. So use that money to grow it more. Do not waste that money on paying off debt. The other thing that you can do is keep in mind Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At the bottom of the pyramid here, we have the physiological needs such as air, water, food, sex, sleep, clothes, shelter. And then your safety needs is next on the ladder of importance here, which is your personal, emotional, financial security. And then your needs after that, once you get that done, the next needs after that would be, belonging needs such as your family, your friendship, your intimacy. And then the next one after that is the esteem needs, which is your prestige, your face, your sense of accomplishment. And then at the top of the pyramid is the self-actualization needs for creativity and your highest potential. I'm sharing all this stuff about the hierarchy of needs and the common goals that we have seen in our students and among our team so that you have a starting point of how to calculate and formulate your personal financial goals. How to calculate the amount of money needed to quit a day job. So here's an easy formula. You take your monthly living expenses times 12 months, and then you take 100 years old and you divide it by your current age. So let's assume that you live to 100, and that's going to equal the amount needed to quit your day job. So for example, I need $4,000 a month to pay for all my living expenses. Times 12 months, that's about $48,000 a year. So then I take 100 years and divide it by the 44 years that I was at the time when I was doing this formula, and that equals the amount of money needed to quit my day job. So if you take $48,000 times 56 years, right, because 100 years times minus 44 years is 56 years, I come up with $2.688 million. Now I'm going to round off the math so that it's $50,000, so it's easy for me to do the math. So 50,000 times 56 years equals 2.8 million. And I'm going to round it off to 3 million to be the total amount needed to quit my day job. So now we have an estimated starting point or final destination of $3 million. Is it 100% accurate? No. But is it a good starting number? Yes, it is. The reason why it's not 100% accurate is because you have to consider inflation and potential life emergencies that come up along the way. But $3 million is a good starting point or a good final destination for me to start with. So if we need $3 million to quit our day job and to retire, do we need to capture 100% of the bull market move? Look at it here as an example of the 2017 bull market. If you can have an opportunity to pull out $3 million November 16th to December, should you wait? Let's say you do wait. The market goes up some more. It goes up from the beginning of December to the middle of December. It goes up and you have another 3 million. You can take it out of there, or should you wait? How about the last half of December? Should you take out the 3 million there or wait? What about the beginning of 2018? There's another opportunity to take out 3 million. Should you take it there? I'm going to share with you guys several case studies of the Taifu team versus the Dell engineer. Okay. On the Taifu team here, we sold and we retired 5 years early versus not selling and continue to work and have a bigger portfolio. Let me share this case study with you guys. So on our team, most of our team members, we just sold and took out money wherever there was an opportunity to sell and take profits so that we can retire. Some of us took out enough to retire for 5 years, for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. So each of our team members took out a different amount But each of our team members took out an amount that was comfortable for them to pay for their living expenses until the next bull market. If you fast forward into 2021, all our team members are still retired and they made even more money from the 2021 bull market, and they still have not used all their principal that they took out from 2017. And now they've added more money to it. Now, on the other hand, we have a friend who's a software engineer at Dell. He makes really good money. He makes $150,000, $160,000 a year. And he had an opportunity to do the exact same thing and retire like we did. But he chose not to. He chose to stay behind and work at Dell. And then he moved over to Amazon. And he worked at Amazon. And he started getting a $320,000 a year salary working at Amazon. So he's a high-level, senior-level engineer. So he's really good at what he does. In the 2021 bull market, when we called and talked to him, his portfolio, it's way in the 8-figure range. And he's still working at Amazon for $300,000 a year. And we asked him, why are you still working? Like, you could have been retired 5 years ago in 2017 with us, and you would still have that multi-million-dollar portfolio. Nothing's going to change, except you didn't have to go to work an extra 5 years. We have to ask ourselves, right, which is a better choice? Is it better to continue working and have a bigger portfolio? But keep in mind, guys, once you start crossing like $3, $4, $5 million, making more money is not going to change the quality of your life. For sure, if you start cracking $5 million and you're not a wasteful person, you don't just throw money away, you are financially conservative with your money, making more than $5 million is not going to increase the quality of your life. So is it necessary to keep going to work for 5 years? So in 2021, when the Dell engineer's portfolio is in the significant range of 8 figures, that's when he decided to retire. And we asked him, was it worth it? Was it worth it to work the extra 5 years? You could have been retired 5 years earlier. He said that it was worth it for his portfolio to grow that big, but there was also a sense of regret that he could have retired 5 years earlier. So it's up to you guys. It's up to you. Only you can determine what is a good financial goal for yourself. If you have an opportunity to do it, are you going to do it? On our team, the first opportunity we had to retire, we took that opportunity. We didn't care how much more money we're going to make. We took advantage of that opportunity and we took profits. Knowing our personal financial goals allows us to ask ourselves, what ingredients, what tools, what techniques, what strategies, what skills, and what talents do I need to reach that final destination? If we don't know our personal financial goals, then we're not going to know what ingredients that we need, what tools we need, what techniques, strategies, skills, and talents that we need to get there. So it's very important that you calculate your personal financial goals. We recommend putting your personal financial goals in this sequence. Early or full retirement first. So set a goal to have early or full retirement, be able to quit your day job and buy back your precious time. The next goal should be to have enough runway for peace of mind. Having enough living expenses has many benefits. It allows you for less worry and stress about how do I pay the bills at the end of the month. You are able to ride out the trend longer because you are not in a rush to take profits, and allows you to be patient in the markets. And then the third thing that you set in your personal financial goals is the toys and the doodads and the junk that you want to buy just for fun. Toys usually do not increase in value. They are the opposite of buying assets. They lose value. So if I buy a Lambo or Ferrari, there's nothing wrong with that, but usually they lose value, okay, instead of gaining value. Keep in mind the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. After you have the early or full retirement, after you have enough runway so you have peace of mind, you don't have to worry about paying the bills anymore, and after you have all your toys and the junk that you want, then what are the other things that's in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs that you want to accomplish? So for example, like my goal is to be able to speak 4 languages. I already speak English, Vietnamese, and Spanish. And the last language I want to learn is Chinese. The reason why I want to do that is because I have always wanted to learn Chinese, and I like the Chinese calligraphy. So I want to be able to paint that and write in Chinese and do artwork in Chinese calligraphy. And the other thing too is that I want to set an example for my kids. So when I encourage them to learn multiple languages, I can show them that even when I'm 50 years old, I'm still willing to learn a new language and learn a new culture. And that's what I want to set an example for my kids. In addition to the passion for Chinese calligraphy and Chinese art, I also want to set an example for my kids. So that's one of my goals. So I would keep that in mind, that that's one of my goals from the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I would put that at the end. After we establish a personal financial goal number such as 3 million, then we patiently wait for the right market signals to sell and take profits to obtain our goals. And so let's go ahead and talk about the market signals.